What's going on, world? It's your man T-Ray the Violinist here, and we are back for episode 4 of Strings and Dreams, where we talk all things business and all things music. So I took a quick break last week. I was in NYC. It wasn't really a break, but did a couple shows out there, and as you know, New York moves fast, so I was moving and shaking all around. So didn't get to do last week's episode, but we're back this week. We're back on track, and this week we're going to talk about something that is a very I don't want to say sensitive topic, but something that all business owners, entrepreneurs, and definitely artists need and expect, and what we think of it. The word is support. All right. What is support? How does it look? And this is actually going to be a 2-part series. So this week we're going to talk about support and what it looks like from the business owner and artist perspective. And then next week we're going to talk about what support looks like from a supporter's viewpoint. All right, so it's going to be a 2-part segment, and I had to take some time out to actually kind of collect my thoughts on this particular topic, because we all have our own definition of what support is and what we think support should look like from those around us and those who may not be as close to us as we may think they are. And with that being said, I took some time out to type up some notes on my MacBook. So if you see me looking down, I'm trying to stay on track with my notes so that I don't go off on the tangent, because doing a vlog, I find you can go off on the tangent if you're not trying to stay on track. So we're going to talk about support today. All right, support. What is support and what does it look like? How do we view it as entrepreneurs and those around us define how they support? All right, so first let's address it from the business owners and artists perspective. Business owners and artists feel that support is an action. Okay, supporting is an action. We see it as a or at least in my opinion, I don't want to categorize everyone into the same category as far as their opinion is concerned, but from my perspective, business owners and artists see support as a tangible action. Okay, so if I'm a business owner, I'm an artist, but just for example, if I was a business owner and I had a bakery, I guess, I would expect people to come in, view my products, see what I have to offer as far as cakes and other sweets and things like that, and I would expect them to patronize the business and buy from me, capital in exchange for a good or service. I'm reading my notes. Remember, I told you I had notes. As an artist, when we perform, we're more likely to be performing for an audience, which means that we're not in our room, we're not in our house, we're not performing within a group of our peers in a private, enclosed environment, but we're displaying our talents on the stage for others to enjoy. So as an artist, we see support as one form of support is showing up and actually engaging in live performances. Now we're going to take it a step further as it pertains to artists. We as artists are selfish. We're selfish and self-centered, and you're going to be like, why would you say that, T-Ray? I believe we are selfish and self-centered, not saying that we are bad people, but we expect those around us to support every single thing that we do. We want them to be at every show. We want them to like every social media post that we post. We want them to share everything. We want them to buy merchandise. We want them to buy CDs. We want them to tell somebody about it. So we want supporters to do all of these different things, right? And in actuality, in 2017, that's just not how the world works. And I myself, as an artist, had to learn that people are going to support how they support. Okay, and we're gonna kind of get into the different types of supporters, because I do believe that there are different types of supporters. You have supporters who are going to come to shows. You have supporters who are going to buy CDs, merchandise. You have supporters who are going to engage with you on social media. But like I said, going back to why I say we're selfish and self-centered, I'm going to read this verbatim how I typed it organically in the moment. The reason I say we are selfish and self-centered is because we want everybody, and I mean everybody, that we know, their mama, their dad, sister, cousin, brother, to all show up to all of our events, patronize our business. And in reality, it just doesn't work that way, because everyone views support differently and has their own life and obligations. You can't, now artists, you cannot expect everyone and everybody that they know to come to every show or support every single thing that you do, because in actuality, that is just not possible. Because if I was the friend of an artist, right, and I didn't like directly work with them, you know, and they expected me to come to every single thing that they do and repost and reshare and like everything that they do, I wouldn't have a life of my own. And you know, it's not any slight to the musician or the artist, and I say artist performing, but I also include, this is an all-inclusive vlog. I mean, artists who are in dance, artists who are painters, and different things like that. Jewelry makers, all of those things are artistry. We expect them to be a part of all of those different things, and it's just not. In reality, it just isn't possible, because they have their own lives. You know, people have the things that they like. You know, people are not gonna support every single thing that you do. You know, you might post a Facebook status and somebody's like, I don't really agree with that. You know, like, and you may never know that they don't agree with it, but they appreciate you as a person, and they appreciate you as an artist or a business owner, so they continue to support you. It's not something that people are just going to be like, oh man, because they said such and such on their political or religious beliefs, you know, I'm not gonna support them anymore, you know, because we're all entitled to our own belief system. So speaking from experience, I've experienced this and the desire to want everyone that I know to show up to shows and to, you know, like statuses and this, that, and the other, and it's just not possible. And it took me a while to understand this, you know, as an artist and someone who's building a career, and have known certain people to support, you know, through the years. A lot of people, like, I really got my career start while I was in college, doing what I'm doing with the violin. So, you know, when you're in college, you have 9 times out of 10, you have a lot more time on your hands to, you know, party, go to shows, do lanyard activities, whatever the case may be. So you're gonna, you know, when you're in a college setting, or I'll just say your early teens, early 20s, you have a lot more time. Majority of people in that age range have a lot more time on their hands to do certain things. So the way people supported you while you were in college, and the way people support you, you know, years after college, is going to be different. The dynamics are going to be different because, 1, people graduate, 2, people get jobs, career jobs. Them coming to your show is not paying their bills. You know, them coming to your show may possibly be helping you pay your bills. They start families, they have kids, a host of things. They move away, they move to a different city, a different state, maybe even a different country. So you can't hold that against people, because, you know, they're growing just like you're growing. And then there are artists and business owners who are starting their own businesses and starting their own careers as artists, and they're doing the same thing that you're doing. You know, they're working to build their brand and also get people to come to their shows. So we as artists and business owners have to understand that the people that may have been there since day one are not necessarily going to be there in the same capacity as we progress and move along in our careers. And it's not because they don't support you or they don't like you. It's just the nature of life. And we as artists and business owners have to understand that, because the further along we go, you know, people come and people go in business, as we all know, and then also in friendships and other aspects of life. You know, people in your life for a season sometimes, and people in your life for an extended period of time. So we as artists have to understand that, which brings me to my next point. The reality is, once again, that people are just not that into you. Okay, so this brings me back to my point when I said that people grow up and people are not going to have all the time in the world to devote to supporting your career because they have their own life. And we have to understand that. Like I said, if someone was there every day when they wake up at 6 in the morning or whatever time, liking your Facebook status, liking your Instagram post, resharing, retweeting, showing up to every show. If you have 4 shows a week, they're at every show. You know, that's just not humanly possible. And they're just not that into you and that consumed to the point where they can be there for you like that. And that's just unrealistic, and you can't ask that as a human. Not saying that your art form is not appreciated by those individuals, but you have to do this one thing. You have to continue to stay focused on your art form or your business and let it organically bring in the people that it's going to naturally attract. You know, speaking for myself from experience, you know, I've been in situations where I feel like certain people should support me in, you know, a certain show because that show is a big thing. Like, let's just say New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, right? So me and my band debuted last year at the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival, and naturally there are certain people that I would, you know, expect to be there. You know, my parents, my close family members, but tickets have become a lot more expensive, and I don't have complimentary tickets, so, you know, it's not possible. So, you know, I have to understand that certain people aren't going to be able to make certain things. So yeah, let it genuinely attract the people that's going to attract to you. So as I was saying, if you follow me on any social media outlet, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, or even my website, you know that I just put this project out, The Essence of the 90s R&B Edition. I put this out at the end of June, right? So this project was made as an ode to the 90s, and also to raise money for me and my band to go in the studio and record our debut album. Sorry to glare the light. So anyway, you know, I made this project specifically for that purpose, and also to show people, you know, that the violin is able to do, you know, what I've continued to advocate for the violin. It's not just a background instrument. It's not just a classical instrument. It is a voice and an instrument that can be on the forefront of things. So with that being said, you know, I made this project, and I initially thought certain people were going to support it, and some of those people still have not purchased their own copy of it. You know, people expect things for free, and you know, I'm at a place where I'm like, I cannot give CDs away for free, especially when there's a means to an end for the revenue of it. It's not going in my pocket. It's going towards me and my band recording our debut album, which is something that is very, very important to present our sound to the world, to present T-Ray the Violinist and Dreams to Reality to the world. And I've come to a place where I understand that everybody's not going to buy this CD because, one, it's 2017. This is an old school way of music being heard. Two, people may not like 90s music. You know, they may like the original stuff that I do and only support the original stuff. Excuse me. And I'm okay with that because it's an original product, and people can directly relate that to me and my band. So, like I said, you can't focus on the people who aren't supporting you. You have to focus on the people who are supporting you. You have to focus on presenting a great product, presenting something that is going to stand the test of time, and presenting something that people are going to naturally gravitate to. You know, as long as it directly correlates to you or your brand, and that resonates with people, people are going to support it. So we're going to move on to purchasing products and patronizing a business. All right. So once again, as artists, we feel that everyone who we know should buy our products and projects because they know us personally, or they say they support us. All right. So just like I said, with this CD, I came to terms with the fact that everybody was not going to buy a copy. Some people are going to want it for free. But the people who truly understand the reason why this product was made and why and respect the fact that the time was taken out to record it, mix it, get the graphics done for the insert, actually buy the cases, buy the CDs, burn the CDs, package all of this together. People who appreciate and understand that are going to support it. So we're going to talk about purchasing products and patronizing business from two different perspectives. One is that the product or music may not be their taste, okay? And I, as a violinist doing what I do, I understand that my product and that my sound may not be for everyone's ears. And I have to understand that, one, and I have to respect that, and I have to accept that, because there's I don't know how many billions of people on earth, but I had to broaden my thought process and my thinking and saying, okay, this is not only for 200 people. I'm doing this, as something to build for the masses of people who are going to support the brand of Dreams to Reality, and support T-Ray the Violinist as an artist. So I understand that it's not for everybody's ears. They may support the idea of supporting you from afar, which boggles my mind, and we'll probably address this next week about how people support, but they support from afar, okay? And maybe some of you out there, you can comment below and let me know how that thought process works and how that actually works. You have to accept that your product may not be for them, and that it may be something they are interested in. It has nothing to do with you. It has nothing to do with knowing you, but the actual product that you're selling. So I said earlier about how you might post something on Facebook, and even though they may not agree with it, they still support you as a business owner and an artist. So like I said, somebody might be at a show, I'm at the table, hey, what kind of CDs, the Essence of the 90s, and they open it and look at the track list, and those songs might not appeal to them. So in turn, it's not that I did a bad job or the song selection wasn't, what it should have been. And it's always going to be a what if factor. But for that particular individual, for that particular person, it may just not fit what they were looking for, what they were expecting. And they may not like these artists. They may not like the music that originally came from these artists. So, that's no slight against me. So back to my point about supporting your product and supporting your artistry. So in the case of a business that provides a certain product, they may not buy that product because it's something that may not be of use to them. And like I said, in the case of this CD, they might not like the artist, the music that this artist or the particular artist on this CD make originally anyway. So, it's nothing against me. But I do feel as though this is my thought on it. A person can still support and buy the product and have that be a representation of their support for you, although they may not use or listen to that product, or they can even donate to your business, because as entrepreneurs and business owners, really those first few years are very critical to have the support of those around you. I've been a full-time artist for 3 years now, and there's no way that I would have made it through these first 3 years without people supporting, as far as booking me for their events, booking my band for shows, curating shows and having people buy tickets to them, people buying CDs. There's no way that I would physically be possible to sustain myself and thrive as an artist if those people didn't support. And to everybody, I can never say it enough. Just take a moment. Thank you for your support. Thank you for even tuning in to this vlog. This is something new for me. So by you tuning in to this vlog and sharing it, liking and subscribing to the page, you are definitely showing your support. So with that being said, I'm going to talk about some things pertaining to artists, and then we're going to do our wrap up. I have, in many cases, after shows, have had merchandise tables set up for people to purchase and support by purchasing the product that they have just heard. Side note, as artists, it's very important to provide business cards to everyone at your show. All right, I'm gonna say that one more time. As artists, it is very important to provide business cards to everyone at your show. And if you're playing a festival, that's totally different arena. But if you have a show where there's 50 to 70 people in a room and those people are still around after your performance, make sure you go around and hand out cards. And that's one of the things that me as an artist I've continued to do, show after show, gig after gig. I ordered 5,000 business cards in June, and that's probably going to take me through the end of this year. Like, I plan on having all 5,000 of those cards in someone's hand. I'm probably giving out 1,000 by now, so I'm down to 4,000 in theirs. We're in August, so I got a few more months left in the year to get rid of the rest of those cards. So make sure everyone gets a card, no matter if they buy a CD, want a pitch or whatever. Make sure you give them something to walk away with, because they're going to remember that you gave them that card, you took the time out to give them that card, and two, they're going to remember you. And potentially, if they don't already follow your social media, because yes, social media is a really big part of what we do as artists, and how people can see what we're doing on a day-to-day, hour-to-hour, second-to-second basis. But make sure you give them a card. So we're going to talk about merchandise as it pertains to artists. Okay. So let's say you have a show, right? There's a cover for the show, $5-10 cover. To most of us, that's not a lot of money, but for somebody that may not have it, that's coming to your show, that's a supporter. All right. So the CDs are there for them to purchase, but for some odd reason, they don't purchase it right away. Let's just say CDs and other merchandise, T-shirts, stickers, cups, koozies, whatever the case may be. There are multiple different reasons for this, and I had to walk myself through this process and figure out exactly what it was that may prevent them from buying your merchandise after they've attended your show. 4 reasons that I thought about walking myself through this process of why people don't buy merchandise or CDs. First reason is they may have budgeted their money out to support by paying the door cover or the door admission. Okay, so whether it was $5, $10, $20, they set that amount of money aside to come support your show, because on the flyer it said T-rated violinist or T-rated violinist in Dreams to Reality live at such and such venue. The admission is $10. Okay, so they said, all right, cool, I'm gonna go support them, and they put that money aside, because what if you're not getting the whole door, you're at least getting a percentage of that. Okay. Next thing, they may actually not like the product after they've heard it. Okay, so this is for first time consumers of your product or your music. In this case, for artists. So they may say, man, I've heard about this guy or I've heard about this girl, and they're such a great artist, blah blah blah. But when they get to the show, that's not the case, and they don't really like what they hear, and they don't like the music. It doesn't match what they've heard online. And artists, we have off days. We have on days and we have off days. We have some days where our performance is just not up to par. But this is pertaining to first-time consumers. And then you have consumers who are going to buy that product after the first time hearing, because you were just that good. Next thing, they may think, well, I already came to the show. How much more do they want from me? Okay, so they already paid the door admission for your show. $5, $10, $15, $20. We're just gonna stop at $20. And now you're asking them to buy a CD. Like, man, come on, man. I came to your show. Like, what more do you want? And us as artists, it's very important, like I said, to give business cards out, but to also have given a hell of a show for your consumers to walk away with something. Because if they don't walk away with something, following you on social media, buying a CD, telling somebody about the show, I feel like in my eyes, I didn't do my job. I didn't do my job with pulling them in to to have them, resonate with what I have to say musically, or what me and my band has to say musically. And then, some people just don't want to give that much, and you have to, once again, you have to focus your energy and understand that everybody's not going to support in the same way, shape, or form. If 100 people come to your show and they all paid at the door, and only 20 of those people buy a CD, count that as a success. Don't look at the other 80 people that didn't buy a CD. Look at the 20 people that bought your product. All right, and understand that those 20 people are going to listen to it. Other people might hear it, and they're going to talk about it. So focus on the positive. Focus on the people who are definitely buying your product. All right. Lastly, they just may not be interested in the merchandise, and rather just pay to see you live. I had a situation in New York for the show we did, and I had this CD, and I had Essence of the 90s, and then I also had previous projects. And the guy came up to the table. He said, "Hey man, that was dope. That was a dope performance you did." And I was playing with a DJ at the time for this particular show. And I said, "Well, I appreciate it, man. I have some CDs for sale. If you would like to purchase one, just quick plug." And he said, "You know what, man? I got to be honest. I don't buy music unless it's 100% live." And it kind of confused me. I was like, "Well, this guy just told me, he thought my performance was dope, and he really enjoyed it, and I'm telling him, I have a CD, and I told him, that the revenue from the CD is going right back into me and my band recording our live album." And the guy obviously didn't buy a CD, but it just confused me. I kind of wish he would have kept it to himself, to be honest. But hey, everybody's different. So remember those 4 points. 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. And just keep those things in mind. So last thing. These are all valid reasons for someone not buying your product from the consumer's perspective. But like I mentioned before, we as artists are self-centered, selfish, and we want everything to be about us. We want people to do all of the following when they come to the show: pay the cover, buy drinks, take pictures, post throughout the performance, sign our email list, buy our merchandise after the show. And now, for someone who is a hardcore fan of you, they may possibly do all of those things, and more blessings to them. More blessings to them and more blessings to you. But understand that people, even if someone comes to your show, they're not going to do all of those things, and you have to understand and accept that fact. You can't ask people to do every single thing. Like I said earlier, if someone was all about you and your career, they wouldn't have their own life. If someone comes to the show every now and then, accept and appreciate the fact that they have carved out time to come to your show. All right. So last thing, I'm looking at my notes. Yeah, like I said, hardcore fan of yours. They may very well do all those things, but we as artists and business owners have to understand the day and age we live in, 2017. Most of us are wired differently. Money has a different value to each individual in regards to all of these things that I mentioned above. And all of these things cost capital. Even someone who's taking a picture and posting it on their social media during your performance, and they may not be connected to the Wi-Fi, which means it's being charged against their phone and their data plan, and they may not have unlimited data. So that's costing them money as well. And you may not think about that, but it's costing them money as well. And for those who do post, shout out to them as well. So thank y'all for tuning in. I know this was kind of a longer episode, but I think this information is vital for business owners and artists to get a perspective of, how we should appreciate those that support us and the different types of support we're going to get. Like I said, this is going to be a two-part series. This week we talked about it from the business owner perspective and some of the things that we need to take into consideration as business owners and artists when others are supporting us, and what we should expect, and have an open mind about it. So on next week's episode, we're going to talk about support from the consumer and supporters perspective, and we're gonna go out in the streets for this one. I want to get some raw, uncut footage of people's answer to this particular question. What do you view as support to a business owner, entrepreneur, or an artist? All right. So thank y'all again for tuning in. It's your man T-Ray the Violinist, here for Strings and Dreams. And make sure you subscribe to my YouTube page. Just click below the subscribe button. Check me out on Instagram at T_Ray the Violinist, and also on Facebook at T-Ray the Violinist, and Twitter is T-Ray Violinist. And my website, once again, www.traytheviolinist.com. And remember, it's never too late to make your dreams a reality. All right, peace.